I was listening to Miss Wade talking about how she got to school and how she had to make something. She forgot to tell you that I was calling her to get to school. I made sure she got to school. Because I was the bus driver. But, and before then I was Percy Catholic substitute. I don't get on these parts very much because it seems like I have trouble with law enforcement when I come down this way. You know? The last time I was headed down here, the cop stopped me. He said, "You were speeding." I said, "You were too." He said, "Why? What you mean?" I said, "You caught up with me, didn't you?" He said, "What's your mind?" I went squirrel hunting when I was down here. I killed 20 squirrels. I came back after 27. There was a guy out there in a funny uniform. He said, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm doing all right." He said, "How many you get today?" I said, "I got 20. He said, "You know who you talking to?" I said, "No." He said, "You talking to game one." I said, "Do you know who you talking to?" He said, "No." I said, "You talking to the biggest liar on this side of the street."
Oh my God. Oh my God.
On my way back to Chicago, I was in some part of Arkansas. And it's about 3 in the morning. I had my radio, I by myself had the radio turned up, it's sounding good. And you know, when you ride in a new car, you can run up on 8 or 9 before you know it.
Amen.
The cop pulled me down. I don't think I was going to 5. He said I was going. He said I was going 85 and a 7. But he said, "Boy, you were speeding." I say, he said, "Why were you speeding like that?" I said, he said, "Wait a minute." Say, this is sucking, you're the third boy I caught coming through here this morning speeding. He said, each one of them had a different lie to tell me. He said, "I'll tell you what. If you can tell me a bigger lie than they told," said, "Bad God, I'm going to give you a pie." Well, he shouldn't ask me that. I mean, told me that, you know. I said, "Well, officer, I'm going to be frank with you. I said, I'm a religious man." I said, 3 weeks ago, a state trooper ran away with my wife. I said, "When I saw you put them lights on me," I said, "It's been so peaceful since she's been gone. I thought that was you trying to bring her back."
All right, all right.
My driver out the bike and walked up and shaking his head.
I would have too.
But you know, some funny things happen as you travel across the country. I stopped at a truck stop one time in Cairo, Illinois. And these 2 guys drove up on a motorcycle, you know, white guys, they had long beards, you know, and they were raising the motor stuff. And for some reason, they walked in the restaurant, this other white guy, truck driver, was sitting down there eating eggs and bacon and grits. Walked in there and picked his coffee up and poured it over his eggs, and picked his cream up and poured it over his grits. And he didn't do nothing. Everybody waiting to see what he's going to do. He got up and walked out the door. So they bounced him out on the floor, said, "He ain't nothing. He can't fight." Another guy was coming to the door, said, "He can't see either because he just backed over 2 motorcycles."
All right now.
But when I first got to Chicago, I got off the train at 12th Street. I don't know how much y'all know about Chicago. Some of y'all I'm sure know. I got off at 12th Street. And I was supposed to they're supposed to drop me off, the cab was supposed to drop me off at Melville. Instead, he dropped me off at May. At the corner of 6th and 3rd of May, he said, "Look, you go down there and just look for the address. It won't be no problem. But it's dark, you know." And you know, in Mississippi, at that time, you didn't have no bars on the door, you know, because when I was down there, the only thing we had on the door was a wooden latch with a nail through it.
All right.
And that was pretty much just to keep the dogs out and the chicken.
All right now. All right.
At our house, you know, you could count the chicken through the cracks in the floor inside the house.
Right.
You know,
Definitely.
yeah. But anyway, I go down there looking for the address. Everybody asked for help had bars on the door. I thought everybody in Chicago was in jail. The next day I went out and found a job. And I got a job the next day. The man told me to come back about 4 o'clock that afternoon. He was instructing me what to do. I went by and it was at the Hilton. They had Aretha Franklin, Nazir Cole, and I believe somebody else they had. I believe Little Milton. He said, "Look, so your job is to keep the baseboards clean in the washroom, mop the floor, and keep the hall clean." And said, "See that orange door down there?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Whatever you do, stay away from that because that's where the women change clothes." And later on that night after I lost my job, I went out on the bus stop. I'm standing out waiting for the bus. Here come a guy come up to me at the bus stop. He said, "Mister," said, "have you seen the police?" I said, "No." He said, "You see the police in the what now?" I said, "No." "Do you hear the police?" I said, "No." He said, "Okay, hands in the air. This is a stick up." I made up my mind. I said, "I ain't gonna let this happen to me again." So it was a judo karate school right on the street from me. I would go down there every day and look through that window and watch those guys work out, and I'd go back home and get in the mirror, and I'd try to do what they were doing. One day the guy came in and said, "You want to come in and join?" I said, "No." You know. He said, "Well, it's okay if you want to look." But I didn't have no money to join anyway. But when I thought I had it all together, one morning about 2:30, you know, they had lines up in the 4 o'clock. I decided I'm going out to the bar. I'm waiting on the bus. I guess I was out there about 10 minutes. Here come 3 guys with me and want my beer for. I thought I had my karate together then. I chopped and kicked. 3 guys laying on the ground. Here come the police up arresting me. I said, "What's wrong with you guys?" So you ought to be ashamed of yourself, beating up those little 8-year-old kids. What I tell you, one thing about the people in Chicago, they don't like to go to work on Monday, you know. They just sit and lay back. By Wednesday, they start thinking about the bill, and they look for the buck. But by Friday, they run for the buck. Because that's payday, baby. So they see the bus pull up, and they go, and the bus pulling up, and they go running, "Hey, hey, hey!" And the bus keep going. They're like, "Mother, I know he saw me." And, but you know, it's hard to tell who's crazy now. You know, it used to be easy. You know, but we got so much technology. You know, the cell phone, the guy walking down the street talking. You know, he's talking on the phone, but it used to be if you saw a guy talking, you know, like the Kevin on conversation, you knew to cross to the other side. But now you don't know who crazy, you know. Because I went out to Atlanta, Georgia to see my uncle. And, you know, I knew about Junior, but I didn't know he was crazy. He's sitting up on the hen nest cackling like a hen. And I went on down there where his dad was. I said, "Something wrong with you, bud?" I said, "He's sitting up there cackling like a hen." He said, "Yeah, I know something wrong with him." He said, "But we're going to take him in and get him checked out." But said, "Right now we need the eggs, so it's going to take a while." But I had these 2 buddies, you know, they was walking down the street. One of them had just finished college. And they went to, you know, they had these sign up in the window where they read your palm and all that stuff. He went in there and they talked to the lady and said, "Look, so you just finished college, you're the only child in your family that's going to finish college, and when you start work, you're going to make $45,000 a year." He was so happy. He said, "That's great." So his buddy was with him. He said, "Wow, that lady's smart." He walks up there and he said, "Where's my dad?" She said, "Your dad is dead, son." And he said, No. Say, no. She say, he said, "Where's my dad?" And she said, "Your dad is in California." He said, "Oh no, my dad is dead." She goes through the card and move this crystal ball, and she say, "Yeah, son." So "Your dad is in California." "No, my dad is dead." She mixes up this pile and do that crystal ball, and she throw it up in the air, and the pile turns different colors. She jumps up and clap her hand. She said, "Yeah, sir, your dad is in California." No, you got it wrong. My dad is dead." She said, "Look, son, the man that your mother married is dead, but your dad is in California." But you know, some people like to drink a lot, you know. Now, I got this one cousin, he's old now, but I went to see him a few years ago, and he told me, I said, "How you been doing?" He said, "Well, I'm doing fine." I said, "God's been good to me." I said, God's been good to me." So when I walk in the washroom at night now, I open the door, he turned on the washroom light first. I said, "Wow, man, that's fantastic." A couple of days later, I said, "Why?" I said, "Don't you think it's strange that Uncle so-and-so go in the washroom at night and God turn on the light for him and he don't turn it on for you?" She said, "Yeah, he gonna think it's strange too when he find out he urinated in the refrigerator." one cousin. He has never been to the movie. And his daughter took him to the movie one day. She said, look, you just go on in and pay your money, you go see the movie, and when I'm going and wash some clothes, I'm going to do a little shopping, I come back and get you. She came back about 2.5 hours later, he wasn't outside. So she wondered what taking so long. She sat there in the park and she went to sleep. And about 3 hours and a half, he still ain't come out. She go in there and get him and say, did you enjoy the movie? He said, yeah, I enjoyed it. I said, well, why are you staying out so long? He said, look, there's some girls in that movie. They getting ready to go swimming. And every time they start pulling their dress off, a train come along. And I figured sooner or later, that train would be late, and I'd get a chance to see them undress. So, I tell you, you know, I feel that everybody should tell their kids who their dad is, because two little boy was standing there crying, and 2 men was fighting. Old lady come along and say, son, I said, what you crying about? He said, my daddy, they fight. She said, which one is your daddy? He said, that's what they fighting about.